For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And good morning, it is OBX Today for Monday, November 15th, 2021. Bear with us here a little bit. Got a camera that's not wanting to cooperate with us at the moment, so we'll get that up and running here in just a second. Just got to get it. Little button here and there. There we go. Hey, how's everybody this morning? Thanks for joining us on OBX Today Live on the OBX Today Facebook page and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Coming up this week, we'll be later on this week, we'll be joined by Jessica Sands, Executive Director of the Dare County Arts Council, as what's just coming off Veterans Week, wrapping up, and all the excitement and fun that they had with those programs. They are going to be getting into the holiday spirit with new exhibits that just opened up, new gallery shows, and we'll talk more about that with Jessica later on this week. And, of course, keep you up to date with all the headlines that are going on here on the Outer Banks and across North Carolina each weekday morning at 8 o'clock, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. And let's get right into the headlines this morning. First off, from our friends, the Ocracoke Observer, story on an update on the West Virginia woman that went missing back in October 9th, while trying to cross Ocracoke Inlet. Now, the search was suspended in late October for 27-year-old Savannah Grant of Fairmont, West Virginia. She went missing on October 9th following a boating accident off Portsmouth Island during stormy weather. Grant was with her boyfriend and another friend, and the three, including the one man's dog, had been camping on Portsmouth Island and had left on the day of October 9th. That was a Saturday, and we had a nor'easter right in progress, a coastal storm that was really causing problems. They were required to get back, or had stayed not overstayed, but they had been on Portsmouth Island, which is part of Cape Lookout National Seashore, and had stayed as long as they wanted, and then were trying to get back on that day, and unfortunately were not able to make it across. The Coast Guard said they rescued one of the men alongside a green canoe about offshore of Drum Inlet, which is farther down the Core Banks. The man who made a 911 call about them initially in trouble in Ocracoke Inlet, he was found ashore on Great Island by a Good Samaritan on Cape Lookout National Seashore. And he reported he had last seen Grant in the early morning hours of Sunday. And this incident happened Saturday around midday when he called. He had last seen her and the dog Sunday morning. Both those men have been released. The mother of one of those men has spoken with the Ocracoke Observer. And we'll get into what she had to say in a moment. Both Grant and the dog named Poseidon remain missing. North Carolina Wildlife Resources handled the boating incident portion of the accident. Master Officer Tyler Engel said at the time that the group put into the water to leave Portsmouth Island was when they capsized. Press releases from the Coast Guard said the 911 call came in around 4:15. Engel said they interviewed all the parties involved in the boating incident. Side of the investigation is closed. Neither the John boat nor the canoe were found. Engel interviewed both men and said there were no inconsistencies in their reports and no reason to suspect any foul play. Jason Wank, Chief Detective of the Carteret County Sheriff's Department, Portsmouth Island is in Carteret County, said in an interview the case is now considered a missing person case, and they have formally filed a missing persons report for Savannah Grant. He said that his investigation determined no evidence to suspect foul play, and his office sent out missing persons flyers to all law enforcement agencies in the state, calling it an unfortunate, tragic situation. James Weekly, Grant's uncle, and two other friends had arrived on Ocracoke back on October 12th to do what they could do to aid in the search, but they returned to Grafton, West Virginia on October 25th, but continue to try to find answers with the aid of a private investigator in Nag's Head. Now, the mother of one of the men who was rescued has written a letter to the Ocracoke community and sent it to the Ocracoke Observer. We've got all this at obxtoday.com. It's a letter of gratitude to the agencies and people of Ocracoke Island, multiple local, state, and federal agencies. Thanks especially to Lieutenant Amanda Faulkner at Coast Guard North Carolina Sector, Captain Ernie Dozier, and Deputy Sheriff Blackburn Warner. They were took off in the inlet almost immediately after the call came in. That after hearing the 911 call, they got there about 20 minutes before the Coast Guard and risked their lives in trying to rescue Savannah Grant and the others. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission for its assistance. There's also someone who she wanted to thank, a Good Samaritan, unnamed, at Cape Lookout National Seashore. Fisherman who was out there who helped her son after he made it to shore, and the Carteret Hospital of Morehead City. Also, folks at the Carteret County Sheriff's Office. That was a letter from Mary Margaret Pearson from Fairmont, West Virginia. You can read those details right now, courtesy of the Ocracoke Observer at obxtoday.com. Big change was announced Friday by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They are now dropping a change that was proposed in 2018 that would have drastically reduced the recovery area for the endangered red wolf. The service said in a news release that based on recent court decisions involving the plan and having considered public comments submitted in response to the 2018 proposed rule, the Fish and Wildlife Service determined that withdrawing the proposed rule is the best course of action at this time. Red wolves, which are native to the southeastern United States, have dwindled to only a handful in the wild, scattered across parts of Dare, Hyde, Terrell, Washington, and Beaufort counties. A government study released in March of 2019 found that the red wolves that roam the counties just inland of the Outer Banks are a unique species and not, as some have claimed, a coyote-gray wolf hybrid. Announced in June 2018, the plan would have reduced federal management of red wolves to just the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge and Dare County Bombing Range. The settlement of a federal lawsuit announced in 2020 mandated the Fish and Wildlife Service update its plan for saving the red wolf by February 2023. The lawsuit filed by the Southern Environmental Law Center challenged the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's failure by the end of 2018 to revise the recovery plan that was put in place in 1990. The Endangered Species Act requires the agency to prepare plans that serve as roadmaps to species recovery, identify measures needed to ensure conservation and survival, such as reintroductions. And that is going on as we speak. In fact, News Observer has a story up this morning, or yesterday morning, that said that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service now plans to release 9 wolves that are being raised in captivity this winter, and plans to release them in the recovery area. Sierra Weaver, Southern Environmental Law Center senior attorney, said the Fish and Wildlife Service announced during a pretrial hearing that will release 2 pairs of wolves in the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge this winter, and a group of 5 more wolves into the Pocosin Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. And for those of you watching not familiar with where those are, I'll bring up the map here of where exactly those 2 locations are. Let me zoom down in on this a little bit better so you can see it. So Here, of course, is Kenoble Hills, Nag's Head, Kitty Hawk. There's the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge, which covers a large portion of the Dare County mainland. The red area, that's the Dare County bombing range, or it's commonly known as that. It's two actual ranges. And then out here in Lower Terrell County and Upper Hyde County, you have the Pocosin Lakes National Wildlife Refuge, which runs all the way over to Phelps Lake. There's Lake Mattamuskeet. That's Lake Phelps. The areas that are in green are wildlife refuges, except for the brown, of course, Cape Hatteras National Seashore and Pea Island National Wildlife Refuge. But the areas here in green, and then the area in red right here on the Dare County mainland, that was the only areas that the 2018 decision would have allowed for those that they would have focused on for the red wolf recovery area. Would have greatly shrunk that area. But they're going to release 5 wolves out this winter in the Pocosin Lakes National Wildlife Refuge, and then 2 breeding pairs in Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. That's the plans for the latest update. So we'll get a little bit more detail about that at obxtoday.com because of that new information that came out over the weekend. As far as what the plans are with those new releases. There were several releases recently in the last couple of years of these wolves, and they're being raised at different locations. There is actually a breeding facility in Terrell County, south of Columbia, but there's also several zoos that are involved with this. North Carolina Zoo, there's a zoo in Tennessee as well that have been involved with the breeding program, and elsewhere in the country that the red wolves, they're trying to make this attempt. And so the plan right now, the Fish and Wildlife Service, by the way, knows 8 wolves are currently alive on the Albemarle Peninsula, as some will call it. We just call it the Dare County mainland or the mainland. But that area along 64 and 264, that's where the red wolves have been released over these last 2 decades. Some other headlines this morning. Dare County is resuming its recycling services today. Several of the previously halted recycling services. Back in May, the Public Works Department forced to shut down the Rodanthe Way Salvo Recycling Center and remove the recycling trailers from sites in Wanchese, Mans Harbor, and Stumpy Point due to a staffing shortage. Although the staffing shortage continues to be a critical issue, recycling activities at those locations will be reestablished today. The Rodanthe Way Salvo Recycling Center, which is behind the Myrna Peters Community Center adjacent to the Rodanthe Boat Ramp, will reopen with some changes to ensure recycling occurs at a pace that Public Works Department staff members can meet and maintain. Only the following recyclable items will be collected at the Rodanthe Way Salvo Recycling Center. It includes clean cardboard and co-mixed recyclables, basically essentially glass, plastic, steel cans, paper, and aluminum cans. No electronics available. Drop-off will be available, and no trash dumpsters will be provided. Only thing you can bring there is recycling items to the Rodanthe Way Salvo Center. Residents and visitors are asked to remain patient as Public Works moves to reestablish recycling in those locations. For more details, you can go to darenc.com/publicworks or go to obxtoday.com for the latest. All right, we'll step aside and be back here on OBX Today Live on Facebook and YouTube.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Layla. This sweet and soulful lady is 10 years young. Layla loves to be held and also likes to talk. Layla is in the very early stages of renal failure, but we are working with our vet to ensure she is comfortable and thriving. At this time, we are looking for Layla to be placed in a foster or forever home. We would love her to be in a home very soon. She is perfect. To adopt Layla or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Saturday at our shelter located in Manteo. Look out for our next volunteer orientation that will take place Thursday, November 18th at 4 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
Back on OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. East Carolina University's Brody School of Medicine and Vidant Health are one step closer to merging to improve access, they say, to improve access to and quality of healthcare to rural North Carolinians. The ECU Board of Trustees approved a joint agreement Friday. The UNC System Board of Governors expected to vote on that this week. This collaboration, they say, will be to more effectively and efficiently address the health disparities and care delivery obstacles in the eastern part of the state. Under the agreement, the Brody School of Medicine and Vidant Health remain separate legal entities, but will function collaboratively as UNC Health starting January 1st. Nearly a quarter of eastern North Carolinians reported their health as poor or fair, compared to about 17% of the citizens in the rest of the state, according to a 2017 report. The Vidant Hospital System serves more than 1.4 million people in 29 counties. Leaders hope this collaboration enhances that care and makes it more accessible. So it will become ECU Health the first in 2022. Understanding is won't see any changes in services, but will streamline some of their health care. We'll see what that means once things come down. But Vidant Medical Group, ECU physicians, and most of Vidant Health's medical centers will rebrand to ECU Health in January. The Brody School of Medicine name will not change. Of course, Vidant has a number of facilities here in northeastern North Carolina, as well as the Outer Banks Hospital, which is a joint partnership with Chesapeake Regional Healthcare. If you're looking for in Manteo, they're getting things really going, and they're really jumping in full feet forward with some contests for Christmas decorations. First off, they've already got their business storefront contest underway with $300 prizes up for grabs. They're doing the same thing for homes, not just outside, but inside as well. So those who live in Manteo can enter to win through Friday, December 10th, photos of your home, either outside or inside, and you can win up to $300 prizes. So one of $300 prizes. It's called the Deck the Homes contest, and we got all the details for it. There'll be a random drawing for one of $300 prizes, and one of the three winners this year will take home a sparkling trophy for being fantastically festive. Get the details of the things to do page at obxtoday.com. Let's see here. Tammy, you may have joined us late. Just jumping in on some comments we see here on our Facebook feed. The latest, she has been officially reported as missing. And there was a letter from one of the folks, one of the men who was rescued from his mother. Just goes into details, and we got the story for you at obxtoday.com. But really nothing new to report there. Just circling back with the comments on Facebook and how folks jump in as we're going through the show. You can rewind once we get things posted and hear it. Or you can, of course, check it out at obxtoday.com. The Mustang Outreach Program will host the You Can Make a Change fundraiser at the Outer Banks Brewing Station coming up on November 28th on Thanksgiving weekend from 12:30 to 4:30, featuring live performances by Mustang Outreach Program students. The event will also include an art and music Christmas tent with instruments, musical equipment, and art for sale to raise money for the organization. Admission is free, but a $5 donation is requested, with all donations going to the Mustang Outreach Program, which is a nonprofit that's going through a leadership transition while trying to recover from the pandemic and resume classes. Shelley Gates has stepped in as acting president of the Mustang Outreach Program's board of directors after Michael Diana resigned as president this fall. And they kind of go into what's going on there and how they're going to make some changes to the program, but also expand the program. And you can make a change. It's co-presented by Music Fest and Just for the Beach. Also thanks to Tortugas Live, Town Bank, and Nags Head Hammocks for being a part of the event. Get details, you can go to MustangOutreachOBX.com. The Mustang Outreach Program encourages and cultivates creativity through music with a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion. This is one of many fundraisers they're going to be having as they get back out there, trying to expand their programs. It's a chance to give kids a chance and others a chance to play music and learn how to play music. So you can check that out on the Things to Do page right now at obxtoday.com. Realtor Greg Green with Village Realty was recently recognized as a good neighbor at the Outer Banks Association Realtors annual meeting. Awarded by committee designee Jimmy Anderson of Hall & Nixon, Greg was recognized for his work with a great cycle challenge that helps kids fight cancer. Greg rode almost 275 miles on his bike and raised over $3,000. And you can check things out as Greg Green with Village Realty is this year's Outer Banks Association of Realtors Good Neighbor. We've got that on the Real Estate Roundup at obxtoday.com. Cool thing here with the North Carolina Education Lottery. Saturday afternoon's Carolina Pick 4 game. They drew all zeros. 4 zeros, $10.3 million. That's the most ever won in a single drawing in the game. It produced 3,326 winning tickets. A $2,500 prize goes to those who bought 50-cent tickets, while those who bought the $1 tickets won $5,000 each. All right, we will take a break, come back, and take a look at sports here on OBX Today Live.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
The town of Kill Devil Hills is excited to announce that we're putting in solar-powered crosswalk lighting this year. Added crosswalk lighting has been part of our pedestrian plan for years, but it was a big priority identified in our board retreat just this past January.
The project consists of overhead lighting that is powered by solar. They're simple, low maintenance, and easy to install throughout town along NC 12. Most of the lighting was identified by our Streets and Special Projects Committee, gave it to the board for recommendation, and asked staff to go ahead and implement it. The pedestrian overhead crosswalk lighting in Kill Devil Hills was important to keep it uniform with the other jurisdictions that have installed it in Dare County. Oftentimes early in the day, late in the evening, we still have visitors and citizens that like to visit our beaches. Pedestrian lighting can successfully backlight your pedestrians when in the crosswalk. The amplifying light from the crosswalk can also alert the driver that there's someone in the crosswalk, and also just provides a safe feeling for your citizens and visitors when traveling on NC 12.
And we're back on OBX Today Live. Look at sports. Manio High School soccer team will be playing tomorrow night in the 2A East Regional Championship. They're going to be headed down to Snow Hill Now they're on the other side of Greenville, between Greenville and Kinston. Right? Yeah. No. Anyway, other side of Greenville. As they take on Green Central, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Mania is the 4 seed. Green Central is the 2 seed in the 2A East. First Flight lost on Thursday night and were eliminated from the tournament. High school football, only Northeastern, Northside, and Perquimans are left locally. Northeastern beat Edenton by a 50-0 score. Perquimans also advanced, as did Northside, and Gates was knocked out on Friday night. NFL yesterday, Washington beat Tampa Bay 29-19 as the Washington football team ends a 4-game losing streak. Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton, rather successful in his return, threw a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, and his first pass and run of the game as Carolina dominated Arizona 34-10. College basketball last night, East Carolina beat Western Carolina 95-79. Tonight, Old Dominion's home to take on Manhattan, and Radford is at Virginia Tech. And that's sports. Back after this with a look at the weather, including the latest on our, we're getting into some drought conditions here on the Outer Banks and Eastern North Carolina. We'll have that for you next.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
All right, back on OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. Tropical weather update. Nothing. Not a thing to talk about. It's quiet. No tropical cyclones expected to form in the next 2 days or 5 days. It looks like we're going to see what was turning into a rather busy hurricane season turn out to be a whole lot of nothing here to wrap it up. I'll pull up the satellite image here as it is showing, again, just nothing there. Nothing at all. Here's our frontal system that went offshore over the weekend on Friday. And that's one swirl out here looking pretty healthy, headed towards the Cape Verde Islands. No, actually headed towards the Azores. And then down here, just some disturbed weather, just clouds with some, and there's nothing developing down off of Cape Verde Islands. And there's a front, like I said, that frontal boundary now stretching over Florida down into the Gulf. Nothing is expected to develop over the next 5 days, and we probably are done. Looks like we're not going to get into the auxiliary list either. Audrey is the next name on the list, and looks like we're not going to have to use the list. But that could change with 15 days to go in the tropical weather season. So again, nothing there at all from the tropics. We do have, however, a drought that we're dealing with. Despite recent rains, including nearly 3 inches of rain that fell on parts of Hatteras Island over on Friday with that front, northeastern North Carolina, the Outer Banks, in a moderate drought conditions now. And things are getting worse. Here is the latest drought monitor from the U.S. Drought Monitor. Here's the latest map. This was as of Thursday. Now, the data for this goes through the beginning of, the night? So through Tuesday. So it doesn't count all that rain that we did get on Friday, that is. You can see right now that moderate drought for just about all of northeastern North Carolina. The Outer Banks was included in that. that has with this recent rain. Really, the Outer Banks, the only place that's really seen any rain. And really, that'd be Hatteras Island and the North Beaches as well. But we are into a moderate drought. And what that moderate drought means is that, well, obviously it's dry. We do need some weather. Doesn't mean anything governmental-wise yet, but they are, the government, Drought Monitor encourages local governments to start examining their programs that they would put in place if need be because of drought that could affect water resources. Of course, the biggest concern that we have with drought here, especially back in Pocosin Lakes and Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge on the mainland, is this area right here where we have seen wildfires before. And we get a drought and that soil dries out, that peat dries out, and then, of course, you get a wildfire in there. And that can spell disaster, as we've seen before, with long burning fires once it gets into the ground. So we need some rain to cut that drought out, obviously for obvious reasons, but especially because of the potential for wildfire that could cause issues. Today's the day. We got a windy day today. I mean, we're looking at winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour at times out of the west. That could cause us some issues. In fact, I'll flip over to windy.com with their latest. And you can see those winds coming out of the west today and then northwest, and then they'll die out tonight. And we're going to probably get our coldest weather of the year. That is the forecast from the OBX Today Weather Center. In fact, we have a freeze watch in effect for just about everything except the beaches. In fact, yes, everybody but the beaches in a freeze watch today. Let's see here. Show it on the map better than I can describe it. But everything in northeastern North Carolina now, except right along the water, is in a freeze watch. That means temperatures are going to get down below freezing for the first time. Once that happens, they stop issuing these freeze watches in mornings. This is just because the typical growing season will have ended. But again, a freeze watch now in effect for everything except the beaches. And it doesn't look like the beaches are going to get down quite below freezing yet with this one, but maybe in the next couple of days. But this essentially will end the growing season. This is just kind of a standard thing where they'll do a freeze watch. Probably get a freeze warning this afternoon, and then, because temperatures are supposed to get down to around 30 for inland areas tonight. So again, that OBX Today Weather Center forecast for today is calling for sunny skies. It's going to be breezy with west winds about 15 to 25. Could get some gusts to 30 and a high 56. And we'll get some, I know some folks will be asking, hey, is the water going to come up on the sound? It's not expected to blow long enough to really cause a problem. Don't be surprised to see a little bit of nuisance flooding in those normal spots. The Manio and Collington, but it's not going to last very long. The wind's probably not going to blow hard enough and long enough to really cause an issue. Tonight, clear. Beaches get down to 41 with northwest winds 10 to 15, gusts to 25. So it'll feel like it's in the 30s. Inland areas, we're looking at a low for Elizabeth City of 29 for tonight. Or 31, I'm sorry. Elizabeth City at 31. Farther away you get from the water, the more likely you're going to get down into the 20s tonight. Sunny tomorrow, high 58 with northwest winds of 5 to 10. Clear and 53 Tuesday night. Sunny Wednesday, a high 70. Thursday, sunny, a high 72. Thursday night, it's only mentioned the showers as another front comes through with a low 50. Friday, that's Thursday night. Friday, sunny, breezy, 56. Sunny and 57 Saturday, sunny and 63 on Sunday. Coastal Marine forecast today. Small craft advisory pennants up with west winds 20 to 25 knots, gusts up to 30 knots, and 2 to 3 foot waves in the sound, seas 4 to 6 feet. Water temperature 61 Duck, 60 Nags Head, 66 Avon, 63 on the sound side. Next tide change in Oregon Inlet's a low tide at 11:24. Sunset tonight at 4:54. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:39. Currently outside the studios in Uptown Nags Head, we've got fair skies, a few clouds starting to stream in, and 50 degrees. And that is OBX Today for this Monday, November 15th, 2021, presented by Gallup Funeral Services. Have yourself a great day, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning right here on Facebook Live and YouTube.